Hey everyone, this podcast is coming to you from the Psychic Dolphin Garage. You can support this show and our larger efforts to build a leftist community through podcasting and other projects over at patreon.com/Psychic Dolphin Garage. That's patreon.com/PSYCHICDOLPHIN Garage, which is spelled how it sounds.
One of our other pages posts a lot of sex worker positive things, and some of the posts got rated. So, great time for us to actually talk about how even someone, the daughter of Steven Spielberg, who is never going to experience any misfortune in their lives, for several generations of nobody experiencing any misfortune in their lives
in terms of poverty, and in terms of, fucking, you sit back on the ET money and you're set. ET money alone.
Yep. This person has chosen to join the sex worker industry, which is cool and good.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Fine.
No, that's not there's nothing super salacious about that. Just weird to think that inevitably, because of capitalism, we're about to see a video of Steven Spielberg's daughter using E.T.'s finger as a dildo. That's just not something I was expecting.
I mean, that's the angle they're all going to go for, right? Is just,
well, I mean, are we going to talk about what angle they're going to be doing?
No. I'm saying, what I'm saying is, all right, obviously it's going to be commodified along those lines no matter what. Unless you've got, a real fucking strong stage name you can work up real quick, and, I don't know, just totally cutting all ties to, hey, I'm Steven Spielberg's kid. It's kind of like it's a real Venture Bros kind of situation, is all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, do you think that maybe she's like, I'm getting started, of course, in the adult film industry and doing solo work right now, but then that's kind of like being a stand-up, if you will. Then soon they're wanting to move into doing some boy-girl scenes or girl-girl scenes, and that's being a methodical actor about this. Really get the ins and outs of the industry.
More like innies and outies, am I right?
I guess. I mean, that seems like a cutesy way of putting it. Being like
that's a real specific subgenre, but sure.
But I mean, I'm just wondering. Maybe she has a goal. Being like, after working my way up, not relying on my father's name, I'm going to try and become the Steven Spielberg of porn. Just try and make my own expensive $150 million budgeted sci-fi epics, but with porn.
Jesus.
I'd watch that. Yeah, hell yeah.
We could have it happen right now. Whore of the Worlds, right? that title is just right there off the screen right now. I don't know. Do y'all have any other?
I'm trying to work up with something like DP, the extraterrestrial, but nothing's coming.
No. See, that's good. That's good. Jurassic Pork.
There you go. I'm pretty sure that was the Simpsons episode or something at some point, but yeah, fuck it. I don't have the copyright on bad
Schindler's Lips.
Oh, see?
No!
Catch Me If You Come.
Oh, okay. All right, that's...
Empire of the Cum.
Lean Cum.
I don't have a working knowledge of Spielberg's fucking oeuvre like you guys do, apparently, so...
War Whores is staring right at
God.
me.
True. The BBC. This one's kind of a stretch. Instead of the Goonies, it's the Cummies.
The Poonies. The Poonies is right there, dude.
Okay.
That's true. That's true. Okay, I'm a stud. that could work.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, poltergeist, but emphasis on
Poltergeist. Oh yeah. Pull to her geist.
I mean, if we're adding stuff that he was like an executive producer on, Super 8 Inches.
Oh God.
That could... Okay, that's yeah. I was trying to find something for that.
Baiters of the Lost Ark.
Instead of DUEL, it's DUAL.
See, I like that. That could work, especially
the terminal, but there's cum. BFG, big fucking gina. Apparently, there's a West Side Story adaptation coming out this year. Breast Side Story also is what that is.
Boom. This is what people are tuning in for.
Who
right
fucked
now.
Roger Rabbit? It's just the same movie, but Roger Rabbit is naked the whole time, and not cartoon naked either. He has like a big old hog.
Psychic Dolphin Garage.
Hey everyone, I'm Kelton,
I'm Zach.
And I'm Bo.
and welcome to another episode of Psychic Dolphin Garage. How's it going, y'all?
It's going.
Going well.
That's right. Zach is currently in England at the moment.
Jolly old England. Pip, pip,
I'm
cheerio.
currently at an undisclosed location eating undisclosed amount. Yeah, that too.
Undisclosed ass.
Eating an undisclosed amount of ass. I mean, people seemed a little worried last time when we were talking about how you were trying to bring about the 1,000 years of the Fourth Reich, but it seems
Wait,
like
I thought what he was going for was Brexit 2, somehow worse.
I mean, I think the Fourth Reich could be described as Brexit too.
Really,
somehow
really,
worse.
yeah, that is a form of Brexit. Now that you mention it, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna Brexit every country in the EU until there's nothing left. But you know, this other organization that is just all that we are is we're very against the EU. And there are no other rules. You just have to be against the EU.
Speaking of big tense, because this is going to be big and intense, we're going to be doing a Super Tuesday live stream next week, 8 fucking Central. Be there, be square, or don't. I'm not a cop. But yeah, so that's going to be on our YouTube channel. We've been starting up with Dennis, our Twitch, and yeah, hop in our Discord and fucking hang out, get good and rowdy, and just watch the Democratic Party bend the fucking knee.
It's a
That's right.
Super Tuesday live stream. In parentheses, intense. In parentheses.
Yep. Super Smash
For
Tuesday.
SEO purposes, we will also ask Star Wars, Caitlin Kennedy, question mark, minorities ruining another franchise.
No, we gotta, I mean, strike while the iron is probably fucking ice cold by next week, but, do the fucking Sonic the Hedgehog versus Birds of Prey, like, manufactured controversy. It's like, oh yeah, that's really the culture war I'm gonna fucking fight in, is Sonic the Hedgehog or Birds of Prey. Like, those are two
Yeah,
very...
what if I told you, Bo, that, like, don't worry, I have a feeling it will still be relevant, regardless.
It probably
It
will,
could be
yeah.
months after it comes out.
Some
It
fucking
still would-
YouTube channel with, like, you know, their personas arms crossed over the whole video is just gonna somehow compare the Sonic the Hedgehog movie to, like, I don't know, Gary Johnson or something.
My favorite Sonic the Hedgehog take, which I'm going to give y'all now because I have no respect for the show or the docket
Yeah.
this week, is that Sonic the Hedgehog was actually always going to come out looking the way that they made him in the final.
Oh, I'm definitely
the
a Sonic the
release
Hedgehog
version?
truther. Yeah, myself. Yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't actually change anything. They just didn't realize how long it was going to take to render it, and they were like, "Oh fuck." So
Fuck
we have
it.
to make
Get
it
the
look bad
shitty,
so that we
creepy
can-
placeholder we have out. Yeah.
Exactly.
They dressed an intern up with a bunch of makeup and forced him to act out those scenes.
That-
Yeah, no,
That's
that's
pretty
just
much
Ben
what it looks
Schwartz. They put him through a fucking horrible experimental plastic surgery. That's just what Ben Schwartz looks like now.
Oh shit.
God, at some point, we'll actually talk about movies like once we've seen them instead of 4 months later when we're like, it actually wasn't that
I
bad.
still haven't
would like
seen
to
Joker.
amend my previous statement. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of movie reviews, Kelton, throw in reviews to use.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We got 2 new reviews, so it may not seem like much, but it means a lot from us to go ahead and leave us an iTunes review. Helps us out in algorithm, blah, 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 blah. You've heard all of this random bullshit before. Point is, it's higher numbers. It gives us serotonin.
Yeah.
Makes us feel good, okay?
Give my brain the good chemical. Thank you.
The first review comes from Warranted Review, who says, "Wowie zowie, this is a great podcast. After listening for just a couple of weeks, I've already grown an inch taller, and people say I'm glowing. It's truly the best look to have as we collectively sit at the precipice of the man-made apocalypse? I mean, we always try and recommend the fact that our listeners, if you do listen to our podcast, will grow an inch. We don't say where because those are not the guarantees we like to make on this podcast.
Yes, but also you will be glowing as long as you listen to our skincare advice.
Drink a lot of wine, sleep until noon. Fucking there you go.
I enjoy Zach's skincare routine, which involves a lot more waterboarding than you would expect. But apparently it exfoliates everything, so you can't deny the results.
Everything.
The waterboarding makes you, you grow an inch and you exfoliate, so...
There you fucking go. I'll go ahead and take on the other review here. Filberto says, these guys are fun, entertaining, living in reality, and love to hear your best points about the promise of a Buttigieg Bloomberg 2020 ticket. Let me tell you, that is 100% correct. I love to hear just what a Buttigieg Bloomberg. Also, who's VP, who's P? I mean, it's up in the air. Who knows? Who cares?
It's a lot of
That's the America I want to live in.
The first ever co-P presidency.
Ooh. Co-DP dent.
Oh, hold on. We're veering back into Spielberg talk.
All right. The one thing that we guarantee on this podcast is a Buttigieg Bloomberg ticket.
Yeah,
so,
that is, we are definitely Buttigieg Bloomberg bore bust. That is our official stance. You can take this recording, write it down, send it to a lawyer.
And bust.
Ewy. But I mean, I guess we do owe the fans a little bit of an explanation about why we're doing this big blowout on Super Tuesday, and it's mostly the fact that after Super Tuesday, Bernie should realistically be running away with it. So there are a lot of leftist podcasts out there, just in general. Too many, I would say. Ours would fall into the too many category.
Yes.
But of all of those, a lot of people discuss the results that happened after a debate and the results that happened immediately after the caucus or the primary or what have you. And as much as we think that we can weigh in on how important it is that Bernie got 26 points and Biden got 17 points and Buttigieg got 14 points, there's just not really a whole lot of material that we feel like we can contribute that you won't hear 9 other places.
Yeah, I am not wonky enough to understand really what numbers are in general, but those numbers specifically. The only numbers I understand are 69 and 420.
And 1488.
Nope, not that one.
I know those numbers intimately.
I mean, I understand it, but understanding it is the first step to fighting it, of course.
Yeah.
So.
I see. I thought the whole idea of bringing about a Fourth Reich would be just a fun joke. Turns out, grain of truth in those Discord DMs.
No, something about the UK just makes your politics absolutely garbage. Sorry, Zach, you're off the show.
I think that we shouldn't have so many foreign nationals entering the country.
Polish specifically is the one big thing you're worried about now. Yeah.
The overarching point, though, is that in between us having to decide whether or not we want to talk about statistics or if we want to talk about the fact that stories like Elizabeth Warren is setting up fake barbershops to claim African-American support, we're going to talk about that instead. So we'll talk about the stories that are related and in the same orbital sphere as the election. But, I mean, you'll know the results already, and the last thing we want to be is overly stale.
Or dumb. I mean, not that we aren't dumb most of the time, but
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing.
I'm going to say, Bernie made more points than Biden. That's really good. I'm glad that Bernie made...
Are you eating?
You know what I enjoy? The sound of milkshakes and just jelly beans rattling around in the throat.
I'm trying to do the bit with my mouth full so that I sound even dumber, but apparently I sound dumb enough. I cross over the...
No, I think it's just audio poison in my ears.
Yeah, exactly. the issue is not the intelligence point. It's the question of, are you speaking in tongues now? There's going to be 3 or 4 fans who are going to be like, I feel a need to kill Ronald Reagan suddenly.
Damn straight.
I was hoping that it would be Thatcher, but
Yeah, no, I've said it before and I'll say it a million times again. John Hinckley Jr., problematic fave.
John Hinckley Sr., unproblematic fave. Stellar guy. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, pumping out some solid John Hinckley's.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. I mean, we do, though, want to try and make sure that the show seems a little fresh, and even though there is, like, a 36-hour tape delay, you know, we try and make sure to talk about things that will be relevant, ideally, going into the next week. So, like, we could be talking, for example, about how Saturday was National Margarita Day, but we know that that would be super stale. We know, though, on the day that this episode releases, it's Mardi Gras. So that's going to be the thing that everyone's going to be talking about. And then probably
we're all,
forgetting on Wednesday.
Tits out, recording this episode with the masks on. It's great.
Normally we record without pants, this time without shirts.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, yeah, I'm
everyone.
just wearing beads, just fully wrapped around my titties. It's great.
How sad is it for the people who buy beads for themselves? Be like, I don't want it to seem like it's my first time doing this.
See, I wait till just after Mardi Gras to buy all my beads.
Oh, okay.
Because they're all cheaper, you know?
Well, I mean, you're buying them from the sex shop, so it's a very different kind of string of beads that you're buying, so...
Hey, no, trust me. If you get them used, they're already broken in. They got a nice new bead smell to them.
Yeah, I love shopping Facebook Marketplace too.
Yeah, Facebook Marketplace, aka the dark web.
Look, you can get like a
Not because there's anything like illegal there. It's just not a great place to be.
if you were shopping for National Margarita Day and you weren't searching Facebook Marketplace for your tequila, you were doing it wrong.
Yeah, I really don't want to think about like what I could find if I searched margaritas on Mardi Gras on Facebook Marketplace. That just seems like a dark hell pit, and also
What's
like
that
the best
stupid
way to
coffee
fuck
pasta?
a 35-year-old divorcee.
Looking for 3 young 20-year-old women who would like to come with us to Mardi Gras on the 20th. You will be provided with 3 plane tickets, and you will come hang out with 3 cool dudes all weekend long.
Don't make it weird. Sign this NDA. But if you are going to be signing NDAs, I guess that would kind of put you in the Bloomberg camp a little bit. So,
Yes,
do you think Clint
definitely.
Eastwood has ever had someone sign an NDA?
Yes.
Probably.
Definitely.
I mean, there's probably, just in the course of, like, creating something, like a movie or whatever, you sign an NDA generally. Also, though, he definitely just goes into a cowboy fugue from time to time, and everyone who works with him has to, like, swear to silence that, like, no, this is just Clint Eastwood being normal. Meanwhile, he's shot several fucking production assistants, and just you gotta keep the cameras rolling.
Little known fact, the first half of Gran Torino was just him using found footage. It was real dark
They just
stuff.
pointed a camera at him and just fucking go.
They just had big flashcards in the back with just pictures of.
Oh no! They had pictures of what, Zach?
Yeah, no, it's the most like It's a Small World After All versions of like racial caricatures and the accompanying slurs, and that's the movie.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's photos of like random objects, but like one of them's just a hoodie, and one of them's just a
God.
lighter, and it's like,
Fucking,
and then
yeah,
there's
no,
really bad
it
ones.
is-
It's like a whole mariachi band, and it's like, oh.
Can you imagine though if he was just like, mariachi band? Clearly, you're talking about those fucking Sicilians.
Yeah,
Okay, this isn't the
obviously.
direction I was going, but yeah, Clint Eastwood, tell us your opinion on those people.
Fucking. It's really weird to see Clint Eastwood endorsing a Democrat, but also I think you can kind of reverse engineer this into what the Bloomberg supporter brain is like.
Well, because
you
Clint
know?
Eastwood still thinks that it's 2016, and in 2016, Bloomberg was a Republican.
I don't even think Clint Eastwood thinks it's 2016. I think he thinks it's like 2008 still.
Jesus, yeah.
Like, for real. Like, because, so Clint Eastwood's whole talking to a chair thing a few years ago, y'all remember that, right?
A few years ago? Wasn't that like a decade ago?
I don't fucking know. Time's fake. But, like, so he's very much not a Trump Republican guy, but, like, an anti-Obama Republican guy, which feels like it's almost fallen by the wayside.
But he's
I
not
think Clint Eastwood-
anti-Obama because of policies, even,
Oh,
necessarily.
no. He is, anyway. So Bloomberg basically being just, blue Trump, but more, more clear to the point and more succinct in his speaking. I fucking think Clint Eastwood probably loves that, yeah.
I mean, I guess. I mean,
I had wiped the chair bit from my brain.
You forgot about
I'd
the chair
forgotten
bit?
about the chair bit. This is
just Clint Eastwood talking to a
I
chair.
think Clint Eastwood and Joe Biden are like the.
oh, they bro down so hard.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, no, they sundown so hard, but yes.
Okay, legitimate question point. If Clint Eastwood were to be in 2022 announcing that he's doing a biopic about Joe Biden where he's playing Joe Biden, I would have to watch that movie.
Oh, day one.
Like,
yeah.
especially if it's talking about like the issues like with Hunter Biden, and then you have Scott Eastwood playing Hunter Biden all the way through. Just Jesus Christ, Oscar bait material right there.
I just want a movie with a fucking time-traveling Dirty Harry teaming up with regular Dirty Harry, and they just fucking go on adventures together.
to hurt minorities. All the way
I don't
through.
know. I mean, that's you reading that into it, man. Don't fucking put that evil
I'm
on
not
me.
sure I have to read into it. I just think I need to watch Dirty Harry again and be like, it's strange how all of these dangerous thugs and criminals are one particular variety in Check's notes, Boston. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
yeah.
But
Eastwood and Biden are the two candidates. If you just leave them in front of a microphone, they'll fuck their whole campaign.
Bernie, I think, is the only candidate who, if you just kind of give him a mic and let him riff, he won't completely implode. Well, I mean, Bernie and Trump,
he's like the
I
opposite
guess.
of this podcast.
Yeah, like they just do jazz on the mics, regardless. Only Bernie sticks to talking points, and Trump quickly goes into being like, and here's the list of 5 things I have issues with today. Because I woke up and saw it on the news.
These are my top 5 tweets on the Trump podcast.
I mean, I guess everyone knows that Bernie stomped in Nevada by now, right? Like, we don't have to go into that.
Yeah, no, that's pretty thoroughly established.
Okay, cool. So I would assume
cleared
that,
him out, so to speak.
I mean, I would assume MSNBC at this point is also still like bitching and having a meltdown, and Chris Matthews is just talking about like how he's going to get dragged out into the streets. Like, I want Chris Matthews' reality to take place. Okay? Like, I wish Bernie
We'll have
was
those
that
fucking
cool.
guillotines.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just like Chris Matthews is like, you understand, they're gonna come for me, and everyone's like, no, that's way too much hyperbole. And there's a little voice in the back of my head that's like, well, I mean, like, if he's already planning on the worst, don't we kind of owe it to him to give him the worst?
Yeah, Bernie has officially thrown General Lee Oliver from the dam. Fucking, he's got the upgraded Securitrons rolling out along the strip. Like, he's fucking won it.
It's just insane. When I think about how the mainstream media is covering this, I mean, they're falling right into the Russia trap all over again. They announced how
Absolutely.
Russia was helping Bernie win, and then I'm sure at this point there have been 3 or 4 different think pieces about how Putin actually is in favor of Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, did you guys remember that Russia is still communist?
Ooh,
Question mark?
yeah.
Is it? Somebody fact check that? Nobody fact check that. We don't need to fact check that.
I mean, we know it. We know it deep in our soul, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you had to poll Americans and you did the hammer and sickle flag versus what is Russia's actual flag.
the boring ass Adidas stripes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you asked which one is the flag of Russia, which one is the flag of France, and which one is the flag that, is
of the Netherlands.
Yeah. Just,
damn.
pick
I
one.
didn't expect you to hit the France. My riff was gonna be, I don't like the French or the Russians, but I sure can tell their 2 flags apart.
Let me tell you something about them white on blue striped people, okay? Can't trust them as far as you can throw them.
Honestly, though, no, it is kind of a basic bitch flag. Like,
No shit.
I mean, the U.S. included also. Ours is like a little schmancier.
No,
like,
red,
we
white, and
bedazzled
blue?
it,
What the
but-
fuck is this? This is some...
Yeah,
just...
red, white, and blue sucks ass. I'm looking for some, like, Pan-African, like, red, yellow, green kind of flags. Those fucking rule.
Some black, just throw black in
fucking-
there and then add like a decal on it.
Yeah, a fucking ISIS flag. Let's do this. Come on, guys. It's what we need.
You could just
Yeah,
okay.
definitely.
But the big problem with doing like a black background with the United States in white is that then you have to add Alaska and add Puerto Rico and add all our other feudal states that we are technically in charge of.
What if we just do 1 star per time zone?
It's too many stars.
Okay, but then Alaska gets its own fucking star,
That's
and
right.
so does Hawaii. That's no fair.
that-
What is this, the fucking electoral college?
Electoral college, but for stars. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Oh, that would be beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a
Electoral
lot,
college
I
is
think.
like better than caucuses, right?
No. What?
No,
Absolutely
it's
not.
all shit.
No,
It's all horse shit.
That is the like blue no matter who philosophy when it comes to how elections take place. Be like,
I mean,
well, as long as it's better than the time before it. That's what matters.
Okay. But at least in an electoral college state, like, you don't have to take an entire day off of work and actually show up somewhere and like show your face to your community members. You just like put your vote in and that's it. Whereas,
You're right.
you
That's
know,
why we have such high turnout in the United States.
I mean, just make it automatic. Just literally have
You're
people.
saying we should just hand the election to someone? Just make it automatic?
What? No. One
God
person-
Emperor Trump 2020.
Oh God, this has gone horribly, terribly perfect.
Off the rails.
Fourth
Yeah.
Reich will rise.
God damn it.
We will right the wrongs of the past.
Don't like that either.
You know the right choice.
Did y'all see, by the way, that Trump was, or there was a report at least, that Trump was willing to pardon Assange if he said that Russia was the reason that WikiLeaks happened, basically?
He's turned back on all of his shit.
You all right
He's
there?
literally, like, heel turn 180. He's back into, like, campaign mode, and it's shitty.
Of course. Trump is figured out that, like, okay, well,
He never
if
left campaign mode.
It's
MSNBC
true.
is going to be making Russia the bad guy, then fine, I'll double down. I'll make Russia the bad guy across the board. And that's why he got, like, the 1980s Miracle on Ice hockey squad out there at his latest rally in Las Vegas, and he's just like, hey, look at these people. Aren't they great? Aren't they great? They beat Russia. Hell yeah. Just, what the fuck is even happening here?
The Russia story even, like, is just another example of all of the mainstream media outlets lining up behind the main storyline, a la Juan Guaido.
Juan Guido, as we call him
Yeah,
on
Ron-
this podcast.
Hey, I'm cooing
Juan
here.
Guaido.
Real cool guy.
And it's literally just to cover up that Hillary Clinton was like, oh yeah, no, I can beat Trump, she said confidently
Pied Piper shit.
5
Yeah.
years before.
They should have totally done the fucking Pied Piper thing with Ted Cruz instead. I mean, the man has a blobfish for a face. Like, he is eminently unelectable.
I don't understand
despite
how-
beating
yeah.
the Democrats' golden boy.
I don't
here,
understand
too, but
how
that's
they
a-
let
that's
Trump
another
in.
story
Like,
for another time.
it's almost like they don't understand campaigning even though they're paid to do it. Anyways, the point is that they're lining up, like the media's once again lining up behind the main story that is being pushed by whoever the fuck is in charge, because if it's nobody that's in charge, then, like, how do you assault a system like that is so full of incompetency? Just
You can't.
head to
I mean,
toe
that's the thing.
That's the thing, though. Like, if it's any other candidate other than Bernie, like, they're gonna lose to Trump. So, I mean, I think we need to try and set up various action plans set in place. You know, Zach, you're in England right now. I think you owe it to all of us that you make sure to find a way to escape if things go south. Okay.
Okay.
Now I can't advocate. You know, you're in a loving, healthy relationship, and certainly don't want to throw a wrench into any of that. But you know, if you were to have sex with someone in England, you could have an anchor baby, and then that's just your automatic way overseas to escape all of this. And that's one of us. Okay, I already have my secret family over in the Balkans. Last time Griff Shop was covering for me, so I mean, I think we got our stuff set up.
Yeah. Guess I'll be okay.
Yeah, that means we just have to. Now we have to get Dennis and Bo.
Fuck it. No, I'm swimming to Cuba. I've played enough Death Stranding that I can cover large distances like that, no problem.
We got.
That's how that
We
works,
just gotta
right?
get Dennis and Bo and Scott. You know, an exit strategy now.
Fulton ballooned out of here, yeah.
Dennis could he could find himself an e-boy. It would fly him to, I don't know, South Korea. I'm just
Is
projecting
that
what
where-
I would like. I would like an e-boy to fly me to
Yeah.
South Korea.
Absolutely, yeah.
Come on, Monster X, make it happen, please.
That feel when no professional League of Legends player BF. Yep, we all know that feel.
Damn, you gotta call me out like that.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like we have a neighboring country close by. That would be a great place for us all to go to, you know?
They don't have a professional League of Legends team, though.
Not yet. That's the grift. We come hat in hand. President Castro. Or whoever's running this joint.
We're going wrong compass directions on that.
No. We're going exactly where we need to be. We say, hey, we love your mojitos. We love your classic cars. We love your wonderful fucking architecture.
It was just National Margarita Day.
You know what this country fucking needs? Esports.
God, I can't even imagine just how fucked that whole setup would be.
Have you seen the stuff about, I was reading something a while ago really interesting about Cuban net cafes and how they are the largest, like, pirators online now?
No, but that is so dope.
Absolute king shit.
Okay, so Cuba has, like, all of these net cafes, which we can dive into, but then they also have transgender people able to conduct religious ceremonies. Like,
yes.
Okay, so now we have a bunch of the possibility of incredibly religious, incredibly transgender, incredibly online people from Cuba. This is just like a Reddit atheist libertarian's nightmare come to life right now. And I am here for this.
Demographic.
If they're furries, we suddenly have our demographic.
We're gonna stop.
Yeah, you got to hit all those check boxes, otherwise why fucking bother listening?
Stop mailing our episodes to Alaska. Fuck Alaska. You get your own fucking star.
Right.
You've already got everything you need.
Yeah, on the time zone map.
You can only leave us on red for so long, motherfucker.
Only leave us on Reddit for so long before we begin to hate transgender people. We're gonna stop sending them our episodes.
Oh, okay. Was that the deal? I don't think I agreed to that.
I don't know.
Hold on.
What I'm saying is that Reddit sucks. But if you're here from Reddit, you don't suck. You found the only good subreddit on the website.
There we go.
Yeah, no, we stopped sending the tapes up to Alaska. We start sending them to Cuba, and then we just become big stars in Cuba.
That's right.
Instead of big in Japan, we're big in Cuba. Net cafes import culture into Cuba because they don't have internet access to a lot of stuff.
A bunch of dumb fucking Avengers movies showing everywhere. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. They're pirated them.
Which is good. Well, because the U.S. has, these cool things called, like, trade agreements with other countries.
Embargoes.
And what happens when you're on a part of a trade agreement is you become part of a trade embargo. And then suddenly you don't have access to things like Facebook, Adobe Acrobat Reader, Twitter, Netflix,
the backbones of modern society,
PDFs
really,
and
unfortunately,
and video streams.
Yeah,
and so these net cafes pirate a lot of just bullshit from around the world, and they're that's the vanguard party is the net cafe owners, but Cuba's still highly religious because that is a wonderful form of community that has been in existence for thousands of years. And they've now what happened recently was the first time a trans pastor has held a Holy Communion. They are highly Catholic, which is
like mega Catholic, like you'd expect from from
which
Cuba.
Is interesting considering they're also very communist. But it's amazing to see cultures shifting, even like massively entrenched ideologies like Catholicism.
Which especially like you would traditionally associate with kind of like machismo and transphobia and homophobia and just really anything that's not cishet they're gonna shit all over. So this is really neat to see. Also, I really like because just this article's been fucking making the rounds. Kind of one of the pastors' names is Cindy Bourgeois, and I just think that's funny.
The whole thing is a psyop. You see, don't you understand?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like Andy Warhol in the '60s. Fucking like modern art is a psyop to change people's mind about communism, apparently, because modern art's so great, right?
Yeah, it's so good. I love modern art. I love hanging all my modern art up on the wall.
Yep.
In my not a mansion because why would I have that and have a podcast and talk about being working class?
Well, you have actually 3 mansions. That's the
you don't gotta clarify. I just gotta say, don't have one.
You got your
mansion.
Vermont summer home. You got your fucking
Can you imagine how dope it would be if a candidate was like, well, yes, I have my house in Washington D.C. I have my house where I live when Congress isn't in session. I have my mistress's house, and then I have my vacation house.
Wait, what now? What was that? Oh, my vacation house. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Not a lot of people know about that one, but I think it's important.
God.
It's where my secret family lives, and they know me as Captain Capitalism 101. You see.
We're talking about Dennis Prager. Dennis Prager.
Dennis Prager.
Sorry. No, I've actually.
What if he had a whole alter ego that was
Dennis Prager?
Denny Prager. Yeah.
While the U.S. is looking to reduce, the billionaire class over the next 20 years, Indonesia is looking to reduce poverty
Fingers
over the
crossed.
next 20 years.
One country has come up with an amazing plan to end poverty as we know it. It's called...
Just make more billionaires.
A minister over in Indonesia has requested that all of the members of the rich establishment, the rich, should marry the poor to help reduce poverty. Which, that seems like a plan that could actually work, right? Because that trope the trope that exists of a rich guy marries poor working class person always ends in a successful and happy marriage that's beneficial to everyone, right?
Yes.
Definitely.
It creates this very healthy setup of where the kids are able to understand the backgrounds of both, and they're able to become members of this new working class, and not at all the fact that it creates an unhealthy and possessive power dynamic where one partner can constantly threaten to throw the other one out onto the streets where they would essentially become homeless.
That doesn't happen. That only happens under... if you live in like a place where maybe the government has made too many rules to try and regulate things, and then the companies take over the government.
Yeah.
And there's a specific word for it that is used to describe the phenomena of too much regulation in the marketplace. People act in their own best interest, and the best interest of the people is to raise to eliminate poverty in the nation.
And that's why we're trying to get everyone hooking up with each other. It's the hottest new dating app, okay? It's called Parasite. It's a
Jesus.
Yeah, no, if I had the fucking if I had my druthers, I would totally fend on my way to millionairehood and then just, I don't know, spend that money on just absolutely dumb shit. But it's just, I don't have the knack.
Yeah, see, and that I think highlights a key difference, though, is that all of us are like, well, what would we do if we had $1 million? Like, we would spend it on all of this stuff. Whereas these the actual rich and powerful and wealthy people are like, I would hoard it. I would hold on to it and just lock it away under lock and key like I was some sort of fucking dragon. And it's just this entirely different mindset that I think...
just pay your goddamn taxes, you weirdos.
Yeah.
You'll have plenty left over after. Or, you know what? I mean, fucking spend it on something that'll... You violate the whole neoliberal myth in the first place of trickle-down economics by not just fucking spending your money. Please.
Yeah, please.
Tip 20% for fuck's sake.
Tip your brides 20%. Bridal work is work.
No.
Well, I mean, it's just nice to know that the entire world is hellish. So
yeah, somebody's doing something to fucking fix shit, hopefully. Who knows?
It's a good time. But if you've made it this far, you're a true comrade for sticking around. So shout out to all of our patrons, especially Scott for contributing to our dialectical tier, and Allie and Lauren and Spencer for contributing to our new Devil's Advocate tier on Patreon. It's this point in the show that we
have a new patron at our wonderful tier.
Listen,
No,
once
we
we
will.
get
We
a
always
new
will.
patron, that's when we continue to be delightfully surprised
Then
by
we get
that
all
new
snooty.
one.
Yeah.
We're like, Spencer, that's old news. I barely remember his face. This new guy, though, come dumpster 69, that guy. Oh, God, Christ. Well, again, it's this part in the show where we're going to actually then be answering a whole bunch of questions from the Discord, which was delightful. Y'all never cease to disappoint, I have to say. It's so nice that we actually have such a thriving community that we have 19,000 questions to get through, and that's the important thing, because as much shit as we give y'all for asking, we know we're doing it every other week, so it's kind of a bottlenecked bit. But as well, we wouldn't have any content right now if it wasn't for y'all's questions.
Lovely questions.
This is all the content we have. Literally, if we did a show without all the questions, we'd have to leave in all of the shitty bits that we just did.
Yeah, and no one wants that. Come on now, listen back to the early stuff. There's going to be like 3 of you who are like, every bit is gold. They should go back to that.
And you should get your heads checked, honestly.
Exactly.
And you should give us money on the internet.
All right, chill. Bo shill.
Yeah. All right, so take it away with the first question. Wi-Fi Cat asks, what is the biggest crime you've ever done?
Well, Kelton, what is it?
Well, I mean, I think that it would be a point as to when a little kid dead body. And we decided that we were going to a whole bunch of sticks. And so it just like exploded.
Yes, a crime.
Okay. All right. That is, Kelton, can we talk after we're done recording?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I mean,
more about how the mouthfeel?
Oh, no, not about the... No.
I mean, like, I could go into the mouthfeel. Like,
no, do not go into that, please.
We'll just kick Bo out. It'll be... Yeah, we'll just have it.
All right, you guys enjoy that then. All right.
But what's the biggest crime you've ever done?
No, we're moving on. Moving on. Skeletor asks... Is this the Skeletor,
yes.
by the way?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, good. Yeah. Good. Who would win in a fight? A knife armed with a gun or a gun armed with a knife?
Gun armed with a knife, hands down. The gun will shoot the knife. Done.
But what if the knife shoots the gun with the gun it has?
The knife is armed with a gun? How? How will it pull the trigger?
The knife has a tiny gun.
How will
the gun is a big gun.
Damn, right. No, yeah, if we're going off of, like, Cars rules here, which I assume we are, because we always are, I think the gun wins, because the gun can just fire itself.
Yeah.
The knife can't fire the gun.
The gun has sentience. Unless thirst for blood.
The knife employs the gun, then the knife can fire the gun.
Pays off the gun to hunt down the gun with the knife, so that the gun shoots the gun.
Toy Story 5, Andy's psychotic break. Just right there.
God, yeah, Andy had a real rough time at college, dropped out, became a nighttime security guard.
No one wants to fuck me.
Pistol.
Oh, God.
Yep, that was all it took, turns out. Turns out the kid with talking toys all his life did not turn out well adjusted.
Yeah. Toy Story 5 is just a Volcel animation that they've done.
Oh, I don't even know about Volcel. He is several layers deep.
Well, I guess our next gun question comes from Capitan Awesome, who asks, what should I engrave on my new gun?
Solid Snake, ass out. That's my suggestion right there.
Well, I mean, maybe less of an engraving, but what about, like, you get, like, the sweetheart handle, you know? Where you just have,
with
like...
Solid Snake, ass out.
See? Right there. You beat me to it. Stole it right from me. I was building on it, but... Like so many things, society has taken away from me. This bit has been taken away from me.
Okay.
I'm joining Andy. Fuck y'all.
Sweetheart handle, I could see. Or you could just, instead of Solid Snake, you just get a dolphin.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
okay,
schmancy.
well, yeah, that would actually be very nice for us as a podcast.
Or, okay, now what you do is you find something that kind of seems like a Bible verse, but it's actually a drill tweet.
Yeah, if we're doing
and you put a photo of Steven Spielberg's daughter on the sweetheart handle. That's the
there you go.
That's the right
Make
way
it
to
If we're
very
doing
cool
text,
and not
it has
weird,
to be
yeah.
a Jake Forrest tweet, not drill.
Yeah. All right. Undead Comrade asks, what should my next D&D character be?
A rogue halfling. Hear me out.
Okay, rogue halfling. See, I was thinking tiefling bard. Really mix it up.
Rogue halfling, evil alignment.
Oh, wow. You're really getting in edgy territory here, my man.
Neutral evil
Ooh.
alignment. Okay.
And it's Mike Bloomberg.
I'm doing half dwarf, half elf. Hold on a second. Who's greedy?
Wait a
Hold
sec.
on a second.
Uh-oh. My, what long, pointy
as far as...
ears you have.
Okay, here's another idea. Undead Comrade. I don't know if you fucking have checked out the newest Unearthed Arcana as of like a couple weeks ago, but there's the Unity Cleric subclass, right? So, obviously, they're about bringing people together.
Bernie.
What if you were an Undead Comrade? There's your fucking character.
Fuck, that is
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's legitimately good.
Yeah,
God
you
damn
might
it.
be a zombie, but you still believe in liberation
Yeah.
for all people. So, there you go.
I like it. Okay, Shmoo asks, how many ants is too many ants? I think
3 ants.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to go
Exactly 3
4.
ants.
I was going to go 4.
2.
So
Go fuck yourself, more like. It's
2,
3 ants.
because
I
that's
mean-
too many.
No. two ants is just the right amount because they're friends.
It's too many ants.
okay.
No. If you
4
have one
ants
ant,
is a
it's lonely.
polycule, Bo. Why are you kink shaming the ants?
4 ants. Fuck yourself. It's 3 ants. I am digging my fucking
I'm
heels
glad
in
that
here. It's
we
3
always
ants.
agree on everything.
That is the
on this
maximum amount of
podcast.
ants.
Yeah, I mean that.
That's too many ants. I forget what I said 20 seconds ago.
3 ants is too many ants.
Yeah.
That's what
See,
you
that
said.
means that
So
we
2
both-
ants
3
is the
ants
right
is the
number of
perfect.
ants.
No, you've bargained me upward now. Congratulations. I'm gonna have a fucking jar of ants sitting on my desk in a week. Are you happy?
I don't know what happened. Mike Bloomberg came in. He started talking to me about ants, and his devilish, roguish charm convinced me that I need to have an entire closet full of ants.
Mike Bloomberg, the halfling rogue. Next up, Procyon asks, I've been deaf in my left ear since getting off a plane last night. Why is this?
Oh, Jesus Christ,
I don't
guy.
know. Were you listening to our podcast in that one ear? Because the joke is it's hard to listen to and it ruined your hearing, and that's the joke. No, fucking, were you sitting on the left side of the plane? Planes are loud, I've heard.
Hold on a second. He's sitting on the left side of the plane.
You mean the aft
Yeah,
side
where your
of the
left ear
plane,
would then be.
right?
The aft side.
I forget that Zach has been on the plane very recently, so we're about to deal with all of his like bizarre seaman terminology.
Yep. Actually, when the plane touches down, they call it blowing ropes.
Thank you for that, Bo.
Yeah, you're welcome for that.
I mean, I think that I wouldn't worry about cancer or a brain tumor or anything like that. It's probably just the fact that you have like an air pocket developed.
Yeah, do the Valsalvum as hard as you fucking can until it feels like your eye's about to pop out. This is legal medical advice. I am a doctor.
Yeah.
Oh God! Someone takes that advice, and then we are now morally obligated to transcribe every podcast we release.
God.
for
Only
fair-
but only on the left side. We only have
True.
to transcribe the left
Okay,
side
but
of the
what
audio.
if we
That's right.
all record in mono?
There are actually a lot of podcasts who do the good work of fucking, bothering to transcribe like their audio for either people who just want to read or, have hearing difficulties or whatever it happens to be. I don't think we are one of the podcasts
Look,
that
if
deserves
we
that.
need to
No,
do it, we'll
absolutely
make a
not.
Patreon tier for it.
We do not need to inflict this on any more people. Oh yeah, definitely. Fucking put that behind a paywall.
That's right. That's not ableist. Guess
No,
what?
no,
you
no, no.
rich,
I mean,
deaf
like,
fuck.
if there's enough support
Yeah.
for it, we will use Patreon money to pay someone to transcribe it.
Oh, that would be cool as shit. Yeah. Again, I don't think this is. We don't need to inflict this on more people than we already do.
Yeah,
Bo
we'll
was
get on
just-
Fiverr
just
and have
having
some poor
flashbacks
person in
to having to
Indonesia have to
transcribe-
do this.
Bo's just having flashbacks having to transcribe podcasts. Like Bo, we understand that you have PTSD.
Oh yeah, when I
but
did that to make money
yeah,
for a
yeah,
week.
we understand you have PTSD. So this is,
Yeah. Yep.
Anyways, Nate B asks, how many Zoomers do you think support Bernie compared to Trump?
70-30.
I would even say it's more maybe. Like
I don't know.
Trump supporting Zoomers are very loud and very weird, so they stand out.
All the
right?
homeschoolers are Zoomers.
Homeschool kids,
Mormons.
Fucking school bullies.
Mormons.
Just shitty kids who think like Trump's a fun meme and it stops there.
The 12,000 Boy Scouts that were
Groypers.
molested.
God, I'm willing to say 75-25.
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, I think almost framing it just as Zoomers supporting Bernie versus Trump. I mean, I think you're limiting Zoomers a little bit in terms of their radicalization.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Like,
not. They can't make a
I look
difference
forward
at
to
the
the day
polls
I
for
am
the
hanged
most
as a
part.
conservative
Yeah.
by a bunch of fucking, I don't know, Fortnite dancing shitheads.
That is something that we do need to consider. Be like, among people who aren't old enough to vote, who has more support?
Also, I say this as if I'm not like basically on the youngest end of millennial anyway.
Listen,
But,
that's where we find ourselves. Okay, 1 foot into each world. Not too old to become famous on TikTok, too young to realistically claim that we're too old for TikTok.
Yeah, too young to have been famous on Vine and scrambling desperately to retain that. Yeah.
Not that, we actually go check out the pages of the Viners who are now on TikTok, who are making the same content on TikTok, except it's worse now because they're
I'm sure they're doing
old.
great.
See, I didn't even pay attention to Vine when it was around. I just watched the compilation videos on YouTube, and
That's
so
how Kelton gets all of his pop culture content.
The
He just
only
watches
Vines I
compilations.
made when
That's
that
right.
platform was alive were fucking just me cobbling together terrible depression meals in the Texas Tech cafeteria. So if that tells you fucking anything, I mean, there you go.
Moment of silence.
That's
R.I.P.
it.
in
Moment
chat.
of silence. I appreciate that. All right. K-Fate asks, or Kai-Fate, however it is,
Caliphate.
asks... Yeah,
Fourth
okay.
caliphate.
What will you do if Bernie loses the Democratic primary? Well, burning your vest, of course. I mean, realistically, what I will do is go to work for a couple more years and save up to buy some land in the middle of nowhere and build a cabin and just podcast from there for the rest of my days. It's like, nope, I'm good. I'm signing out of civilization. Later, y'all.
Well, I mean, I guess the thing that I would do if Bernie were to lose the Democratic primary would be to acknowledge the fact that then Trump is going to reign for another 4 years, and that means I'm going to not have access to the medical care that I so desperately need. So my garden variety of mental health issues, I'll probably eventually succumb to them within the next 4 to 8 years, giving me a very
let's
limited
all get
timeline.
real fucking crazy.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, that's realistically what's going to be on the table here, and so
Same. Yeah, I just need to turn that like suicidal impulse outward, and I don't know, pull a John Hinckley Jr.
join ISIS is my point.
There we go. Yeah. Just dub over what I just said with join ISIS. Please and thank
It's
you.
all beeped out except for join ISIS. Just
Yeah, that's
beeped out.
perfect.
We
Yeah.
actually go to Rojava, and we support all of the anarchist communities there.
Well, yeah. I mean, that would be a very nice goal, but I think in terms of realistic options, it would be trying to then focus more on the local elections, trying to build power through that, as well as working outside of the electoral constructs and try and support the Yellow Vest movement, the idea of just an outright riot, maybe even focus a little bit on what Howie
General
Hawkins
strike
is doing.
would be killer.
Yeah. I mean, what Howie Hawkins is trying to build right now with a left coalition is something that I think could be setting the groundwork for it. But it's going to, I mean, the Democratic Party would die if ultimately Bernie ends up having the most votes, but then not getting the nomination.
As much as they're total fucking crypt keepers already, like, it would be a million times worse if they decide, oh yeah, no, we're just gonna, take this massively popular candidate, popular also among people who aren't really engaged in politics in general to begin with, and just dump him. Just flush him right down the fucking toilet.
It's a good time. So
It's a good time to be alive. It's very cool and not weird.
yeah. Speaking of not weird, Potato Rican asks, how would you grift Bloomberg's campaign?
All right, so get this. I have a whole plan for it, right? So I've driven by a Bloomberg office here in Austin a couple times. I think it's on Congress. I forget exactly. But basically what you do, and for legal reasons, if this happens, it's not me, but you do your usual, like, ransom note brick through a window thing, right? Where it's just like, okay, what the fuck is going on? But instead of, like, a ransom note saying, hey, to whom it may concern, it's got fucking, a bunch of cutout magazine things all over it, it's just your resume. Or, like, a printout of your LinkedIn profile or something. It's like, I am fucking ready to work for you guys. I am this committed. I put a fucking brick through your window. Pay attention to me. I think that's the kind of, like, just absolute crazy guy energy that the Bloomberg campaign needs right now.
There's, you really have to stand out as a candidate in order to get a job these days. And so, honestly, putting a brick through, your potential new boss's window is the best way to say, hey, I am the one that you want.
It's like the movie cliche of, oh, the characters can't afford to pay for their dinner, so they wash dishes. But instead, it's like, oh yeah, I'll work to repair that window. Also, keep me on a little while longer, why don't you?
Look, I got in the door. I'm fixing the window. Next thing you know, I'll be running this fucking place.
Next thing you know, I'm Mike Bloomberg.
Bo is just giving us his version of The Irishman. Is what's happening. Listen, in the roaring 20s, we didn't know what was happening, but Mr. Bloomberg had a plan. There I was, a young scap. It's just you being played by Logan Lerman for some reason.
Like weirdly CGI'd into me.
Jesus God.
Christ.
God, I did not finish The Irishman, but let me tell you, I saw enough to know that I did not need to finish The Irishman.
Do you think that they ever make it back to Ireland?
I think so. I
like to think that
maybe
they
the
do.
real Irishman was the friends we made along the way.
God damn it.
Judge Milkman asks, that's a name also, what would each of the candidates' personas be? I don't want the I don't just want the animal/hybrid. I want to know coloration, aesthetic, kinks, and name.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Zach, you wanna take charge on this,
Okay,
buddy?
I'll go ahead and I'll just start and we'll do rounds.
All right, yeah.
So Biden's persona is a tiger.
Okay. Elaborate.
Yeah.
Look, we'll have to build on it, but like he saw the Tony the Tiger commercial once, and we all saw the Tony the Tiger commercial. Buttigieg's persona is actually, it's actually what he is wearing when he's tweeting from his dog's Twitter account. He's just a big old pupper.
A black lab, ironically.
A big heckin' pupper. No, Buttigieg is actually a black site lab. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Damn.
Yep.
From 3, fucking Christ. Warren isn't a furry in my head. She's just she's a scaly, because fucking snake. Gotta keep that bit alive.
Yeah,
right?
With a vor kink, because, I mean, if you're a snake, really, what is the other option?
No. If any candidate has a vor kink, that's Klobuchar, all the way. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah, we all saw that fan art that was making the rounds on Twitter.
I mean, just like her as a bird.
What animal, though, is Klobuchar?
Penguin, maybe? That makes sense to me.
Penguin? Okay. See, I was thinking if anybody had a penguin as a fursona or a feathersona at that point, I don't know the proper terminology. I don't know the PC lingo for it, all right, liberals? But that was a weird aside. Anyway,
do you think if we dressed as like pro-Confederate furries, we could get into a Trump rally? Like,
absolutely.
And have them be like, hell yeah, brother.
Well, so the thing is, I think, like, at this point, like, the people who are still going to Trump rallies are either such boomers that they wouldn't recognize a fursuit. They'd think, like, oh, that's a fun mascot animal costume.
Yeah.
Or the people still attending Trump rallies are so online that they're just into the idea of a Confederate flag fursuit there.
I'm just wondering, how can we get behind Trump? That's the
well, with a Confederate flag fursuit.
That's right.
That's how you get behind him.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm going for here. Okay, so coloration and aesthetics of our candidates.
I mean, we decided that Buttigieg is like a CIA black lab.
A lot of camo.
I think. Yeah, a lot of camo, but also a suit somehow.
A camo suit?
Oh, actually, no, yeah.
A camo
He's
suit like Justin Timberlake from Men in the Woods at the Super Bowl.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's that very specific brand of, like, bad fetish art that's just hyper-muscular to the point where it's like, all right, it looks more like you're drawing a piece of industrial equipment than a body. So
no one person should have that many veins. So
yeah, exactly. Just super fucking veiny.
Christ.
Yeah, Biden's is just Tony the Tiger. He heard that this would get him more voters.
It's just Tony the Tiger. We're deciding on? Yeah.
See, I think Klobuchar, it would be a penguin, but like in a pink pantsuit, I guess.
A penguin in a pink pantsuit. I love
penguin pink pantsuit.
Pink penguin.
That's a good warm-up exercise. Glad we're doing that at the end of the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, the kinks, of course, with Klobuchar is just vor all the way through. I think,
or stapler-based BDSM.
Well, I mean, that should be the given.
With a very loose understanding of consent, unfortunately.
Oh no, she understands it. She just doesn't respect it.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying here. All right. Moving on from.
Are we? What, we don't want to talk about the fact that Amy Klobuchar's kid tried to do stand-up in New York?
Wait, what?
Yeah, learning all different kinds of new facts.
Oh, that little penguin.
Poor sweet penguin. But yeah, we can talk about that more in depth later on. So
poor Pinguino.
Biden's kinks. He just we haven't gotten a clear answer from him yet. We put the mic in front of him and he starts describing, but then he gets sidetracked into
puts his mouth all the way around the mic.
He just deep throats the mic. That's it.
I mean, his name has got to be Corn Pop, right?
Yeah, it's Corn Pop.
His first...
Well, absolutely, yeah. It's Tony the Tiger named Corn Pop, which kind of is mixing the branding, but nobody's brought it up to him, and he doesn't seem to care, so he's having fun.
Yeah. Klobuchar is Peggy, obvious reasons.
Peggy the pink. Yeah, those are words.
That's right.
Peggy the pink pantsuit penguin.
I didn't get a single one of those words out. There
Jesus
you go.
Christ.
Peggy the pantsuit penguin.
Buddha gigs.
Also, Bertie Sanders.
Damn.
That cute little bird. Y'all remember that from
remember
2016? That. One of the little glimpses of
my
sunlight?
persona for him would actually be a dinosaur. But he just goes as Barney Sanders.
That's funny.
Okay,
Barney Sanders.
Is his dinosaur maybe purple by chance?
He's really into group sex because sharing is caring.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, sharing your partners. Yeah. There you
The
go.
way he explains it is, I love you, you love me. We're a big happy polycule.
There you go. Yeah, stay away from the F word there.
Buttigieg's persona's name is John Doe.
Unidentified black male is his other name.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, no.
Also, it's really funny that we decided to make Buttigieg's persona a dog when, as far as we know, he's not expressed any suicidal tendencies, but...
Bojack reference here. Okay.
Yeah, no, Pete Buttigieg kills dogs is the joke there, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I like it. We've really fleshed this all out. So I think.
Oh, we fleshed it out and we furred it out on top of that.
Fulfilled Judge Milkman's request here.
Yeah.
Also, go read Grover Fur.
True. So next question from Lantern Light, who asks, why do people pushing the cultural Marxism meme lack a basic understanding that Karl Marx invented conflict theory, and that's why he's in sociology books?
All right, hot take. Lantern Light, I appreciate that you're putting much more thought into this than anyone who quotes the cultural Marxism meme. They are not digging that deep.
No,
I guarantee you.
It's because the people
they mean feminism. That's
yeah, exactly. They mean Anita Sarkeesian when they say cultural Marxism, which that's
anybody who talks about cultural Marxism is either in high school or is doing music theory, and they don't have to take any sort of sociology, or a useless STEM degree. Like the lack of basic understanding. Like, conflict theories, for listeners' reference, are perspectives in sociology and social psychology that emphasize materialist interpretation of history, dialectical method of analysis, a critical stance towards existing social arrangements, and political program of revolution, or at least reform. What that means is that it's materialist interpretation of history, and analyzing history and societies and what we know of them through materialist means, essentially coming down to, instead of doing a philosophy,
like a narrative overview of history. Yeah, it's a who had what view of history.
Yeah, exactly. So it tries to get much, it's obviously more accurate, and it was obviously pioneered by Karl Marx, who's the first guy. Like, hey, instead of saying Europe is the center of the world and that we're the best people ever, maybe we look at like the evidence that would suggest that and see if it's true.
Go to hell, Kami. I hope you die.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
basic conflict theory is you analyze these narratives through the material conditions of the people that you're analyzing, not just what's the overarching narrative that like the victor doesn't control the narrative
Of capital TW the West. Yeah.
yeah, essentially. And people that push like this cultural Marxism, you have never had to think beyond the narrative that they've been told or that they believed in.
In their fucking, yeah, like not even like high school history classes, but like what they remember from Schoolhouse Rock and then filtered through their own racism.
Because
like, I mean, like we were saying, 90% of the time when you see somebody saying cultural Marxism, it's not, they're not applying any sort of like
thought.
There's no, yeah, I mean, it's not that they're implying there is a Marxist culture working against them. What they're saying is that they're mad that there's a black guy in Star Wars now. That's it, I think.
Yeah, no, I think there's no actual, analysis beyond that point. It's entirely reactionary. So,
Yep.
not to, try and tie things up with a bow, but to...
Speaking of Star Wars, Boba Fettywop asks, how about that, huh? Yeah?
Go for it.
If you were tasked with writing a new edition of the Little Red Songbook for the labor struggles of today, what would some of the titles be?
I mean, like, do we have to go, what you think, like, with the same variety?
I mean, I've been listening to Rodeo a lot, the new Lil Nas song.
That's not
pretty
new.
good.
That's been out for so long.
It's been out for like a week and a half, right?
No, it was one of the songs from his album.
Rodeo
that
came out like
a long time ago.
like halfway through last year.
Well, I just found out about it, so it's new to me.
Obviously,
Anyway.
we wouldn't write a new edition of Little Red Songbook. We would just use Rage Against the Machine songs. In my
Obviously,
ideal world,
And we'll charge also, like Rage Against the Machine, $300 a ticket to come to our concert.
okay. First of all,
Little
Rage
Red
Against the
Songbook.
Machine, all of their stagehands are unionized, and they weren't charging $300 a
that's
ticket.
true.
They were charging $125 a ticket, and all of that went to pay their unionized stagehands. Fuck you, Kelton.
It's true.
Yeah, also, I mean, $125 a ticket for a band with that level of capital P prestige. I mean, isn't that much? Like, I remember, like, like about a month ago when people were trying to get tickets to the My Chemical Romance
They
shows.
sold out like 10 minutes
and
after
those
they
were
went
crazy
up
fucking expensive.
They went up for sale.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, unfortunately, it's all supply and demand. Sorry, liberals. #owned. But yeah, I mean, that's just fucking. You can only squeeze so many asses into a stadium, I guess.
R.I.P.
Go listen to better music.
Gasoline.
Gasoline.
By Audioslave. That's
Gasolina?
one of the specific ones that would be.
Gasolina!
I was thinking Gasolina. Yeah.
Yikes.
I would.
Kelton, I think in the pre-show you had an idea for this that was pretty interesting. Why don't you tell us about that?
Oh, well, I mean, my one contribution would be to get the song Yummy by Justin Bieber, the remix featuring Florida Georgia Line. And we have that be the lead-off song, so that way then people know what we're actually up against. And we explain that this song made $7 million for this recording artist, and that that artist will be richer than anyone singing the rest of these songs will ever be or could reasonably hope for. And so that is that level of disparity that we are fighting against for the remainder of the songbook.
I mean, that's full accelerationism right there, baby. Just really dial the shit dial up to 11 and just watch people turn into anti-capitalists like that.
Listen, if you were to analyze my politics before Florida Georgia Line became popular versus after, I think we can all agree that they are the accelerationist band we need.
Can't argue with that, yeah.
I like that.
Right.
I like you
never-
turn it up to 11 here. Referencing, of course, the Marshal of the Soviet Union.
Of course, yes.
That's right.
No missed workers
Are you cosplaying as someone on the on our Discord right now, assuming that everything I'm talking about is a reference to the goddamn Soviet Union?
Yes,
Fucking fuck.
absolutely.
Hell yeah, it
because
is.
Marshall amps were the first to have an 11 put on the dial. Like there was like a line of amps that they did with 11 put on the dial as like a joke, so that you could, like, obviously the pot only turned as far as regular, but they put an 11 on there so that you could turn it up to 11. They literally did that. They tried to make the meme real, and it killed the meme.
Jesus.
No missed.
Corporate influence and memes must end.
Yeah, that's a hot take, Bo.
Wow, bro,
I know,
that's
We're
like
gonna get a lot of pushback on that
number
one.
2 on our list.
Cancel the show, friends.
So
Also,
number 2 on the list of like who gets the wall. Bloomberg corporate meme accounts. Nomus Workers Party asks, if we get a United Socialist States of America, what would professional sports leagues look like?
Same, only they would get full health care, full mental health care, and there wouldn't be any fucking truck or beer ads. Those are key differences. What the fuck?
Also, in regards to the full mental health care thing, I mean, maybe we should. I know they've taken steps to change the rules to football to make it a little less brain injury-y, but maybe more would be good.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
the sport
like,
that involves headbutting people seems bad.
yeah, I mean, like what the
for brain.
XFL is doing right now has been phenomenal for the special teams plays, because I mean they've fundamentally changed kickoffs to where instead of two large 6'4" machines of men colliding at each other at top speed, it's just like a 4 yards of separation, and it forms a scrum. It's a brilliant change of what they've done. And so,
Wait, holy shit! Are you telling me the Vince McMahon led football league is the one that's like ahead of the curve here?
I'm telling you that the Oliver Luck focused football league. Vince McMahon has stayed, thank God, in the shadows. He knows goddamn
good.
well that
Yeah.
he would tank it again if he was in charge. So.
You know, I don't mean to imply that I have visited other countries and involved myself in other cultures and have take away from
Like some sort of
their
pervert.
perspectives on our sports, but a game like rugby, you don't wear any pads or helmet or anything. You're kind of afraid to bonk heads, right?
You're nude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, in American football, you wear pads so that you aren't afraid to go as fast and hard as you can into that guy. Like,
Yep.
like they pick the tallest, meatiest, fittest people out there, and human bone density isn't changing. Like, we're not evolving to play American football better.
To play football.
We're kind of stuck with what we have.
Hey man, no spoilers for the upcoming Hideo Kojima game, all right?
You play an NFL referee in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. You travel 19 different ways in a busted-up golf cart, just so that way then you can throw a flag for 15 yards
I
across
would
the
play
country.
the absolute fuck out of that.
Jesus Christ.
God. Yeah, no, I think going back, Kelton, to kind of what you said at the beginning too about ads, like we would definitely have little cute PSAs, like those compassion pass it on things, but less cringe. Or things like, is your boss stealing the surplus value of your labor? Call us today. Like, it's one of those fucking
Do you have what
mesothelioma
could
lawyers.
be described as a boss? Call us today.
Yeah, there you go. At Guillotine and Guillotine Esquire, we promise you quick
Yeah,
results.
and
Oh
the
my
rest of
God!
the
The
rest of-
Texas Hammer replaced by the Texas Hammer and Sickle.
Damn.
Yes! Holy shit, yes! That's genius! Okay, that definitely clipped. God damn. I'm gonna have a fun time editing this.
Holy shit. The rest of
We gotta make that into a t-shirt.
the fuck we do.
Texas Hammer and Sickle.
Jesus. The rest of the infomercial is just solidarity forever. The whole song.
Yep. It's Solidarity Forever. Forever. It just loops over on top of the football.
I can only
Also,
get so hard.
baseball's
Bo.
canceled because it sucks.
And it's imperialist, and the fact that they still won't let
sure.
the minor leagues unionize.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Long one. Who wants to take this?
This is a multi-part question.
Zach, why don't you take this?
Okay. The first part of the question is from Cake Funeral, who asks, are shows like South Park, American Dad, and Family Guy still relevant?
Yes and no.
I mean,
they're
yeah, they
not
get
relevant
ratings,
to us, but they're relevant to like the 2 million people that
the
watch.
Chive audience.
They're
Yeah.
relevant to the audience that watches them who is captive because they are in touch enough with pop culture to be funny, because their entire shtick now is that they're not like writing these episodes. Well, South Park isn't writing these episodes week by week anymore, so they're not staying as on top of like pop culture as they were for like that short period in 2015, 2016 where they were doing that.
Oh, I thought that they were still doing stuff.
Are they still
week to
doing
week.
that week to week?
Interesting.
God,
Well, that might be a thing to find out before we dive too far deep
I
into
thought that
this.
they'd given up on that.
Does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
Kind of.
I mean, it kind of
Well,
matters.
doesn't
more-
matter.
I
it's
mean,
more for
it
South
kind of
Park.
matters because, yeah.
Because first of all, that's a massive endeavor, and that's like an attempt. They want to be relevant. They want to be on top of the meme of the week. They want to say, "Okay, Boomer, Mike Bloomberg paying Instagrammers to, to make advertisements for him," and they want to say that week, so it's out there. So the South Park clip is what you see when you search in the algorithm. So they're relevant in the sense that they are doing it to benefit themselves.
Yes. Sorry.
I mean, they're
for
relevant
the people
in terms of
paying attention at home. Yes, they still do 1 week. They actually got in trouble a couple years ago because they just outright missed a deadline.
Jesus.
They were like, "Well, not
Oh,
going to get an
damn.
episode this week." So
okay.
I
yeah.
mean,
Okay, I gotta say I respect that on some level, but also, despite being, up to date as of the week, South Park very much rings as, like, years behind the curve, and that just has to do
their
with them
politics,
being, fucking
all
libertarians.
of their reference points. See, South Park's reference points, I think, are up to date with whatever the week is, but their takes are like, I remember someone on a forum in 2014 making this exact point. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I know they got a lot of credit for like their Amazon episode, but I think that's because
Yes, which, should we do the rest of Cake Funerals
this is,
question?
This is the rest of the
sorry.
question.
Yeah.
The rest of the question is, and do they actually display bigger issues, even if the shows are one giant joke? Because they're comedy shows, of course. The Cake Funeral goes on to say, I saw an episode of South Park recently, and it displayed Amazon as a giant corporation not caring for their employees or paying them enough, creating a worker/consumer class.
Cool, great. That does not dovetail at all with the rest of your terrible fucking politics, South Park.
Well,
Well,
South
yeah,
Park's
I mean,
like,
the fact that you can know that Amazon is bad doesn't all of a sudden make you like woke king has good politics. Like,
Yeah, I mean, from just the perspective of anything actionable, unless there is a call to action of like, hey, like this sucks for this specific reason, this is how we go about addressing it. Why fucking bother? It's like the did y'all see the 13th documentary on Netflix when that was like a big thing a while back?
the 13th Amendment, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was that documentary about it on
Ava
Netflix,
DuVernay.
and how prison labor sucks ass because it's basically legalized slavery. A big reason why that fell flat, I saw some people talking about this on Twitter recently, is because, there's no, like, okay, and this is why this is happening. It's because capitalism exploits people because, it's fucking cheap to do so. Similar to South Park, South Park's entire kind of political stance is not really, like, liberal or conservative, which they tout very highly as, oh, that's why we're so smart and cool. Their main political stance is caring about things makes you a
Well, okay.
and well, I mean that is like
gonna be
in
fun
their own
to
words,
edit
more or
and
less.
post.
I can say it. It's cool.
I don't.
Kelton, we're gonna have to
It's
come
cool.
out on the show at some point. Like, you have to let me and Bo
At some point, yes.
be gay, okay?
Speaker of truths. My point is though that their overall point of the show is that if you care about things, you're a fucking idiot. Which is not good politics in general, because there's a lot of things to care about, because the world is a bad place, and, I mean, even if you're not doing anything at that moment to amend some of the shit things about the world, at least you can give a fuck, right?
Well, and like, this is the thing that we talk about a lot, where it's like, well, we understand, like, people in Texas understand the difference between the classes, and there is there's worker solidarity in Texas, in a place that has destroyed its unions, that has destroyed any sort of public services that it could have, that has done its best to paint everything as, McCarthyism has done its best to paint anything other than outright capitalist oligarchy as, socialism. people understand when they're being exploited. They understand when they're being taken advantage of. And it's kind of this thing where we like use the imperial system because it's just kind of what we use. And if we all stopped using it, people wouldn't care as much as they think they would. They would just, if we got sent out all metric measurement systems and everything, all the labeling switched to metric overnight, and all of the all of the recipes that were put out by, in recipe books and magazines switched to metric, then like people would just like, oh cool, they use metric now, that's fine. If you
Yeah, no, there would be a couple months of like people cracking jokes about it, like you do about the weather. But other than that,
yeah, and then like if we gave people public services and like a competent Medicare, healthcare, welfare system, they'd be like, well, that's cool, it's great, it's fine. People understand that it benefits them when it's there and it's materially benefiting them, but any actual like thought that could exist behind the South Park stuff just falls flat because they're not actually making any critiques about the problems with Amazon and the problems with these giant corporations. They're just laughing at it because it exists.
It's an outgrowth of the whole thing.
The next question, by any chance?
Yeah.
Have we
Nessie,
have we officially read it out though?
Not yet. This is also kind of leading to the next question that Nessie has, which is, what do y'all think of the South Park think pieces lately? Do you agree or disagree or kind of both? Kind of neither.
I don't give a fucking care about South Park, honestly. I think the show is a waste of time, and watching it, I mean, it's not even, like, so American Dad was cited earlier up, that's, pretty solid. Family Guy sucks, but, like, has a good, Family Guy, like, when I was, like, fucking 13, it was pretty funny. South Park has aged poorly enough to leave a sour taste in my mouth retroactively.
I think also a discussion should probably be had about like what the writers' rooms look like. I mean, with Family Guy, the writers' rooms are all mercenaries because they're Fox employees, and so the second that they actually do something good, they then get spun out and get told to go write for this like other generic sitcom premise on Fox. On American Dad, the talent pool is smaller. So they get a lot more people who are kind of internet famous and internet popular, and it's those types, but it's all the same variety.
So is Drill writing for, or is he getting?
Drill is doing some like weird Adult Swim
shit. That's a whole other fucking ballpark. Yeah.
But I mean, like American Dad is much more in that vein. South Park has had more or less the same writers' room. I mean, certainly the same creative team behind it. For the
same
decades.
manatees, no, that was Family. Never mind.
And so it's just kind of like, well, you need some new blood, you need some new perspectives. You probably need to non-cis het your writer's room just a little bit.
Not even just that. Well, I mean, yeah, that'd be nice too. But the overarching point is South Park sucks because they're takeaway from everything. I mean, they might have amazing gags, and I would never fucking bother to find out. Because their takeaway from everything is that if you care about shit, you suck.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
That's the core premise. And I guess when it's pointed at something you also don't care about, you find it funny. And when it's pointed at something you care about, it's how could you? And so that's just kind of what this think pieces cycle between for the most part. And I think the analysis of something which is inherently so reactionary is to give it a larger sense of credence. They only spend a week making the episode. We shouldn't have to spend more than a week thinking about the episode.
Exactly.
That's kind of where I fall.
Also, it's just fucking tired. Like, goddamn, the show is really hitting its like season 10 Simpsons slump here.
I guess. Like, I mean, like
my point specifically is the whole like, oh, Eric Cartman, that's such a funny character, right? Like, you can only do that shtick for so long before it just starts to wear really thin. And I mean, he's already kind of hit like peak edginess, like the fucking one where he like, or like he feeds his fucking, he feeds the guy's parents in the chili. I mean, that's pretty good. Like, there's only so much you can do with that, terrible little shithead kid character. You know what I mean?
Certainly. I mean, it's law of diminishing returns with with shock
Yeah,
humor. I mean,
that's
a larger
line
discussion.
goes down
I guess.
South Park.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
what it is.
it falls into the larger discussion about edgy humor, though. Is that people who say like, I'm fine with anything as long as it's funny and it's edgy. Well, that means that you can't have ever made that same joke before. Or you can't have had anyone else ever make that same joke before. It has to be on
also,
such a razor's edge.
The South Park shit is not nearly as edgy as it thinks it is.
No, exactly.
A lot of the time, it is reinforcing the status quo. So,
like with their incredibly problematic one about where it's like, what about this like Macho Man Randy Savage character?
Shit. Now that I think about it, their whole thing of like, hey, if you care about things, you fucking suck. That is about as status quo as it can be.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they're. Like, it was especially apparent in 2016 that their politics were just bad, even though they're, like, a political show. I remember the excuse or whatever of, like, oh, hey, we don't care about Trump, he's too easy to make fun of. It's like, yeah, sure, but I mean, like, Trump's got lackeys, and, just in general, the fucking whole right wing of the country in general, fucking there you go. That's kind of where South Park got their start, too, and why... Anyway, this is a whole other fucking... topic.
We can
go on for a minute. South Park sucks.
They don't use their platform to say anything. They don't use their platform to make any sort of analysis, any sort of that term that we read earlier. They don't have any conflict theory in their writing. They're just like, look at that. Amazon's a big corporation. Yes.
I mean, look at what the side projects are of these other people. Trey Parker and Matt Stone. One of them is kind of just only doing South Park. The other one is being like the voice of a Minions movie. Like at the very least, say what you will about Seth MacFarlane because it is very one note. But the dude has a ton of other things going on in his life. Like he's trying to do his Star Trek spoof, which may or may not be funny in your mind. He has like jazz albums,
a dork, but at least he's like a dork. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like he's constantly trying to evolve, and it seems like South Park has found a very comfortable niche, being this slightly dissociated third party. And shaking their finger at everyone else for actually trying.
Is there some sort of political movement or party that maybe is similar to this? Like one that's like based around like just doing whatever you want, like
conserving things.
Party,
perhaps
like some sort of.
Oh, that's what you're saying?
Well, you see, guys, I mean, and this might be the best way to close it out, because guess what? Vermin Supreme won the Nevada Libertarian Caucus.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yes. Free ponies, motherfucker. See, that's somebody who's been doing their shtick forever, and it hasn't gotten stale because fucking rules.
Because they stand by their bit.
If they let Vermin Supreme on stage because he's the Libertarian nominee, and it's Vermin Supreme, Bernie Sanders, and Donald Trump, I would lose my fucking mind.
I will splort my jorts, let me tell you.
It's like, it's Hell World, but like, my brain got so broken in 2016 that I like it.
I like it. I like it a lot. I want some more of it.
It's so bad, but I need it. It's like the first time you see like, you're like on Reddit and you're like, what's this? Oh, that's not this an NSFW subreddit, but you click anyways. You're like, this is interesting. And then like 2 years later, you're like, hey, remember that one subreddit?
You're just cooming through the night.
Because nothing else is working and you're just like, I need that now. Ooh, well,
Yep, it's just our boob drop for the rest of your life.
Thank God for Steven Spielberg's daughter, I guess, is the larger point. As we bring it all back.
Bring it back around,
That's right. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Psychic Dolphin Garage. Do we have anything to plug, fellas?
Other than the Super Tuesday thing, details of which should be in the description. I'll be sure to write those in the description as I'm saying this. And earlier in the episode, too, if I don't.
One of you scrubby fucks will find it one way, shape, or form. We'll also be posting it in the Discord. We'll be hanging out in the Reddit. We're really pushing that. So listen to the podcast, join us on YouTube, participate in our Discord, post in our Reddit. We love you, and I mean, we'll talk to you soon. Listen to the fucking plugs. Deuces. Thanks for listening to another episode of Psychic Dolphin Garage. Check out our link tree in the show notes so you can join our Discord and subreddit and become a part of the community. Find our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or pretty much wherever you get your podcasts. Word of mouth is still the best way for us to bring this weird leftist show to as many people as we possibly can. So if you like the episode, please share it with someone, anyone. Just one other person at your school or office or parole hearing who you think might like what we do. We trust your judgment. Be sure to join us every week for Destiny Tuesdays on our Discord, the PDLR Fantasy Sports Show Thursdays on our YouTube channel, and Variety Game Night Fridays on Twitch. That just about covers it. All right, we love you. Bye.